evening. Okay. Let me turn on the light here. And... Oh, what? Move over to the side a bit. Late stream, but sup? Hi. Hello. Where's the book? So... Also, hi, how are you? Okay, yeah, so we're on chapter 2 right now. I should probably, you know, write a summary for people who are just coming in, huh? Anyway. Hello, Cha-Cha, hi. Alright. Hi, Beck, hi, welcome. Hi, everyone. It's story time. Alright, chapter 2. Brutal Underground. Boy meets gas mask. Hey, did you hear? They said there's a guy in our first year's class who's killed 12 people. 12? No way, I don't believe it. He must be the top student this year, right? Must be. I heard he did it all at once, too. On numbers alone, he didn't come anywhere close to Killer Queen. But Her Highness was a serial killer, so... When it comes to brutality, you might mess it up, don't you think? Definitely, but isn't she kind of old news? I mean, if we were talking current events, he's kind of the most heinous killer around. Shut up inside of graffiti-covered stall. Kyosuke huddled up. What if someone redeems 100 nyas? Well, you definitely couldn't do it all at once. Eventually, I'd probably just add a cooldown to the nyas, so you couldn't do that. Yeah. Okay. Well. Your reward. Channel points. I'm crying. Yeah. There. Hi again. Hi, radio. Okay. Now there's a cooldown. Anyway, where was it? You love book? Yeah. Shut up inside a graffiti-covered stall, Kyosuke huddled up on top of the toilet, gripping his knees. Tens of minutes had passed since he ran away in a blind panic, eventually finding refuge in one of the new building's boys' bathrooms. Once he had taken up the hiding spot, most of the conversations taking place on the other side of the stall door had been rumors concerning Kyosuke. It seemed that his fame had spread even to the upper classes. On top of that, he had just learned that there was apparently an older student who killed far more than 12 people. Kyosuke's mood was on a rapid decline. Man, I didn't even have a chance to grab any food either. Talk about adding insult to injury. Gripping the pretty pink handkerchief, Yosuke held his hollow belly in an attempt to silence the grumbling. In the afternoon, he had the harsh correctional duty work to look forward to, on top of regular classes. How cruel with an empty stomach. Suddenly, he wondered what time it is, right? He wondered, what time is it right now anyway? Kuriyama's ferocious smiling face appeared in Kyosuke's mind. If I'm not by my seat by the time class starts, I'll be disciplined. The color rapidly drained from his face. This is bad. Lunch break was only supposed to last 1 hour. He didn't have a watch, so Kyosuke didn't know the exact time, but a sense of panic began to spike with this fear that he might already be late. Around him, the restroom had fallen silent. Crap, if I don't get back soon. Throwing the stall door open, Kyosuke rushed into the deserted bathroom, trying to keep low to the ground. He fell midway toward the exit, then picked himself up in a mad rush. Still pitched forward, he stumbled again, his momentum carrying him through the door and into... Huh? Kyosuke's face met a soft, yielding surface that completely enveloped his field of vision. He could hear a cute, muffled shriek of surprise as the indescribable feeling and sweet, perfumed scent surrounded him. And he thought for a moment, this is bad. Kyosuke dropped to the floor of the hallway, as if to push the person he had run into down. Silence. Kyosuke's face was still buried in a soft texture and a pleasant scent. It felt so nice, and Kyosuke, whose mind and body were completely exhausted, thought he might drift off to sleep right there. It was an escape from reality. Nyalpaca, Big Brother's too worn out already. Through his rapid fade from consciousness, Kyosuke heard a quiet voice coming from somewhere above him. Excuse me, could you please move off my chest now? It was a girl's voice, a beautiful, soft soprano mumble. At first, Kyosuke didn't understand the girl's words. A little too late, it hit him. Chest? Breasts? No wonder they're soft. Wait, crap. Lifting his head and flying off of her, Kyosuke kneeled down to the ground and pressed his forehead to the ground in apology. Thank you for the meal. Wait, that's not it. Thank you so much. Wait, that's still wrong. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Shaking with too much stimulation, Kyosuke fired off the wrong words in rapid succession. His face was so hot he thought it might catch fire. For the first time since coming to the institution, he really didn't... Oh, hydrate? I missed the hydrate routine. No, we're reading this light novel right here. Psycome. Typical manga scene, yeah. Hi Scar, hello. His face was so hot he thought it might catch fire. For the first time since coming to the institution, he really did want to die. Kyosuke squeezed his eyes shut, preparing himself to be verbally abused as a groper and a pervert. Well, I guess I should say you're welcome. Oh, I mean, Corpse Party does have scenes like that, doesn't it? Replied a gentle voice above him. How about you pick up your head and maybe stand? It's bad manners to have a conversation while sitting in the hall, don't you think? Bewildered by the unexpected reaction, Kyosuke slowly opened his eyes. Well, I guess. The first thing his gaze fell upon was a pair of white indoor slippers, then 2 beautiful legs in striped tights, following those great legs, not too fat nor too skinny. As they traced a beautiful upward line, Josuke cling to a grey pleated skirt, which had been cut short and straight up and cut short and straight up to a narrow, nipped-in waist. Oh yeah, Sid is a really great streamer. I really like her. I lurk in her streams like all the time. uh, A strange sound like fish was coming from somewhere. My goodness, you came flying out of there so suddenly. You really startled me. You were in the bathroom for a long time, so I thought I'd come in to make sure everything was alright. But then you ran right into me. I'm just glad you weren't hurt. I suppose these big things can be useful after all. The girl leaned in back a little and crossed her arms, emphasizing her... Yeah, well, Koalo endorsed, so I will follow. She's fun. Emphasizing her large breasts. They're huge. The girl I had met earlier, Bob, her whole body barely fit into her uniform, but this girl's was stretching hers out only across the chest. They were so big, you wondered if he... Oh, radio. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the tip. Oh. Hang on. Give me one moment. One moment. Also, while I'm doing this, is there a particular trigger you would like, radio? I'm gonna put your name on me. Give me 1 second. Radio D1. And we're just gonna boop, 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 and center it. Let me change the color so it stands out more. Yes. Turn it into a PNG. Yes, you choose from the list of triggers, yeah. Yeah. And I will try to do that while I read. Yes. So. Give me 1 moment. Hold it. Alright, so we go to items. misspelled radio. Oh no, I misspelled your name. Soft breathing then, but I really enjoy your voice. I'm sorry, I misspelled. Wait, no, I didn't. Did I? Okay, wait, no. Anyway. Yeah. Look, your name is on my head. Okay. So... 10 times 10. Okay. If you just like my voice, then... Yeah, only one word, not affiliated with Has-Been Hotel. Whoopsies, sorry. I'll fix it next time. Alright. And I will just keep reading. And occasionally I will make soft breaths like this. Hang on. I'm gonna have to... Okay. They were so big, he wondered if she might have watermelons jammed in there, beneath her open blazer. She wore a thin blue sweatshirt and a black tank top, drawing attention to her ample contours. That was where my face was buried a second ago? You're adorable. Oh, thank you. Hey, did you hear me? The girl was saying in a puzzled voice. How long do you plan on sitting there? Oh, that's my bad. Kyosuke stammered. I seem to be a little excited for some reason. For some reason? I don't get your meaning, but I'd be happy if it's because of me. Sorry, could you just wait a little longer? Sorry. Sorry, a really loud, car just passed by. It'll settle down, so, you know. Let you sit? Aw. I want you to stand up, though. So you're saying it's something along those lines. If you're staring at attention for some reason, then that becomes the reason why the rest of you can't stand up. Is that right? Well, something like that. Anyway, give me a minute. In that case, there's nothing can be done. I suppose you really persevere, even in this state. Oh, thank you. I'll try to make it settle down as quickly as possible. What the hell is this with this conversation? I feel so stupid I want to disappear. Kyosuke glanced up nonchalantly, trying to hide how worked up he was with these unpleasant feelings. His gaze finally fell on the girl's face to find. It was covered with a jet black gas mask. Well, I mean, Kyosuke did a double take. It's not a hallucination. The girl's face was completely covered in a gas mask-like mask. Where the mouth should be, there is a cylindrical exhaust port that stuck out at a distance, and the eyes were covered by translucent plastic viewpoints. Silky silver hair spilled out of the gap between the mask and a dark hood that covered the back of her head. Even her ears were invisible under the cover of black headphone-like equipment. From the exhaust port at the mouth of the gas mask sound leaked out. Was that a sigh? My goodness, it's pretty rude to scream when you look at a girl's face, you know? Even if it's because you're surprised at my beauty. Really. Beauty? I can't even see your face. How am I supposed to tell how you look under that weird mask? And who wouldn't be surprised to see something like that? All day, Kyosuke has been dealing with almost every kind of freak. But on appearance alone, this girl was truly twisted. Bob was beginning to look better and better. From the bottom of his heart, Kyosuke was sure, definitely this time, that he wanted nothing to do with this gas mask girl. She didn't seem to have the same idea. Oh, come to think of it, we haven't introduced ourselves yet. I'm Rinko Hikawa. I'm a student in the first year Class B. I've heard rumors about you. They're attributing 12 kills to you. Is that right? Somehow, this gas mask girl, Renko, had also picked up on the rumors about Kyosuke. Attributing 12 kills? What the heck does that imply? He was staring right at Renko's face, but thanks to the gas mask, he couldn't read her expression. It looked like the viewports were tinted like sunglasses, so he couldn't even see her eyes. Kyosuke was lost in his confusion over how to react to her weirdness. Then she said, Come to think of it, lunchtime is over soon, isn't it? The teacher of our Class B is really strict about time. I'm reluctant to part ways, but I have to go. Though it was difficult to understand her muffled mumbling, Kyosuke could tell by her low tone that she was really regretful. I do have one last request. If you don't mind, I'd like to know your name. My name? You want my name? Well, Kyosuke was in trouble yet again. After all, Renko was a student here. There was no doubt that she was also a murderer. However kind she might seem, it would be dangerous to imprudently get entangled with her. But on the other hand, if you don't... I don't mind if you find telling me disagreeable. I don't blame you, in fact. I'll silently and obediently leave, but after I do, there's a chance I might have a big crying fit while still wearing my mask and willfully drown in my own tears. But there's no need for you to worry. There's no need for you to worry about me. So please, don't extort yourself on my account. I mean, do whatever you like. It doesn't matter whether I live or die. No, wait, not at all. Oh, wait. Hey, that wouldn't be a threat, would it? No way, not at all. It's not a threat, it's a joke, silly. Think about it sensibly, and you realize you can't drown in your own tears, see? Do you think that I usually cry when I get rejected by a boy like you? But I'm totally choked up by your naivete, taking the joke so seriously. I see. Well, goodbye. Pitiful sobs rose up from behind the gas mask. You're really crying? Hey. My allergies have been really bad lately. No, you're lying. You're lying, gas mask. That mask is one of the most impregnable things I've ever seen, but... You're right. I may have been too overbearing just now as usual. Shh. Sighing, Kyosuke understood. By all rights, he wanted to run as fast as he could. But she could be a problem. This gas mask, she's way too easy to trust. Contrary to her sinister outer appearance, her demeanor was gentle and calm. She somehow exuded an innocent, friendly aura that he found impossible to dislike. Kyosuke found himself torn. Do I dare get involved with Renko? Kyosuke, contemplating this dilemma with his hand on his chin. Was startled when Renko spoke up. Okay, I've got it. You seem to have trouble deciding, so there's no helping it. I'm taking off. Huh? Taking off? I'm taking it off. Oh, taking it off? You're going to take it off from me? Astonished by the inconceivable proposal, Kyosuke tried to look at Renko's face, only to be met by an enormous gas mask that nodded vigorously. Yeah, I'll take it off. It's called a show of good faith, right? Right. I think that sounds about right. What a surprise. In spite of being a murderer, she's surprisingly sincere. even as he wondered at the disparity between her appearance and her demeanor, Kyosuke felt his pulse quicken. Well, I'm taking it off. This is embarrassing, but I'll endure it with all my might. Okay. Kyosuke's voice cracked with nervousness. He gulped. In the quiet, Renko first removed her... I am having trouble, reading. I'm getting so tongue-tied. In the quiet, Renko first removed her sweatshirt hood. Her long, silky silver hair spilled out over her shoulders. Yeah, late night stream. I always do a reading stream on Fridays. Her chest, which strained the thin fabric of her shirt, swayed gently, looking soft. Next, she went ahead and gripped the hem of her tank top with both hands. Then she started to lift it up, resolving herself. Hey, wait a second, would you? What do you think you're doing? Oh, you have a recommendation? What is it? Renko tilted her head in confusion at Kyosuke's interruption. Her skin was so pale it was almost transparent. Her tank top was rolled up as high as the bottom of her breast, exposing her thin waist and small belly button. The thin border of black lace picked out from underneath the hem of her skirt. Kyosuke stood still, stiff in every sense of the word. What do you mean? I'm taking them off. You know, my clothes? The mask is really a pain to remove, so please forgive me if I just strip down. Is that no good? I didn't think so. And the next thing is, what is it? Kyosuke Kamiya. Kyosuke Kamiya? What is that? So your account is in Europe? Oh, that's why I couldn't add you. I don't want to start over. I guess I can make a European account. Just for you. Oh, okay. You got pretty far though, didn't you? I'm fine with it, it's not like you spent money. Oh, okay. It's Japanese. And you wanted to know my name, first year class A. Yosuke Kamiya. Huh? Judging from Renko's baffled response, Yosuke had thrown her off balance. I thought for sure she would take off her gas mask. That was misleading. Aisha to Shisei Katsu. Interesting. What's it about? First of all, put your clothes back on. Like that, you're, how do I say, too tempting. You want me to put my clothes back? Really? Oh my god. You know, I thought surely you must be interested in my breasts, but maybe I was wrong. And here I was thinking that if you hadn't told me you wanted to see them, I wouldn't let you so much as I would let you touch them as much as you wanted, but it seems like there's no need for that. Want it to be a secret, but it's wholesome. Well, that's good. Well, in my 15 years on this earth, I have never regretted a decision so much in my life. I mean, sorry. The truth is, that was a fake name just now. What did you say? Before telling that bold-faced lie, did you want to do things with my body? I see. So your interest is so low. She saw straight through Kyosuke's shameful lie. Correction. In my 15 years on this earth, now I have never regretted a decision so much in my life. Well, enough of that. I wonder if you're okay on time, Kyosuke. Personally, I think we're in a lot of trouble. The Class B teacher is an awful pervert, so if you're 1 second late, He makes you do this and that and even the other thing. Informed of this gut-wrenching fact, Yosuke's heart skipped a beat. In shock, he looked at Yorenko's chest. No, at her face. This and that? You don't mean... No way. We've got to hurry back. Maybe that's as far as... Maybe that's as far as it goes in your class, but in my class, I'll be beaten to death, you know? Well, wait a sec. I don't want to be made to do those sorts of things. It's totally gross. I asked you before, what are those things? Yosuke ran for his life towards the classroom. Renko followed, lagging behind. The speaker hanging in the hallway shook as the chime began to sound. I know I told you, you little worm. If you aren't in your seat by the start of class, you'll be disciplined. That's what I said. Have you prepared yourself, I wonder? Kurumiya's sadistic laugh rang through the classroom that had fallen silent from the podium. Absently fiddling with her iron pipe, she slowly stepped down from the podium. You maggots were probably thinking, oh, if I'm only a second late, or, oh, if something happened and I was out of my control, or even, oh, since it's my first day. Kurumiya continued, surely she'll have to overlook it. Oh, oh, thank you. Thank you for the raid. Hi, Milky. How are you? Let me give a shout out. Hello, raiders. Hello, raiders. I am Koalo. I am a VTuber and ASM artist, and currently we are reading a light novel today. Hello, Tay. Hi. Hello. There we go. Ah. Hello. Yeah, get cozy because we're reading a story. I will say so far my impressions on this light novel. I like it. I think it has an interesting premise. However, it's a little sussy. Omegaverse? What the fuck? Wait, what? Oh, she had you explore the Omegaverse. Oh no. Oh, you poor souls. I mean... Yeah. I see, so it was an educational stream. I'm sure you learned a lot. Took a test at the end, Milk was a beta. Yeah, that sounds about right. Milk banned you. Alright, where was I? Kiriyama continued. Well, my response is... Kiriyama stopped walking and stood silent for a moment. It was a heavy quiet, filled with sadistic intentions. Tense, like the drawing of a bow and arrow. The tension and fear in the room grew deafening. And just then, and just when it was about to peak, Kuriyama snapped. Hell no. From the back corner of the room, a confused shriek filled the room, along with the crush of Kuriyama's target falling over. Cheer and all. The atmosphere in the classroom remained tense, not a single student daring to move or make a sound, lest they incur their teacher's wrath. Yosuke shrunk in his chair, the most nervous of them all. He had reached his seat mere seconds before class had begun. Really, this year's class is getting some terrible marks, isn't it? Crack. Having to discipline two of you on the very first day is, well, crap. Mohawk this morning and now you. Just because I'm a pretty girl, you think you can take me lightly? You still don't take me seriously? I'll grind up the two of you together like raw meat. Crack, crunch. Eek, she's really not just a girl. Abusive language, the sound of blows, harsh cries, and the splatter of spurting blood together formed a violent quartet. Sitting ramrod straight, his unmoving gaze fixed directly ahead, Kyosuke shook like a rattle. That was really close. If I hadn't made it in time, that could have been me. He exhaled sharply, in a mix of fear and slight relief. I wonder if Renko made it in time? In his mad rush to get to class, Kyosuke had lost track of Renko somewhere behind him in the hallway. They had no idea how she ended up, but considering how he'd just barely made it, almost certainly. Don't tell me she's now in the middle of being made to do this and that and the other thing. In front of her classmates? Shit. No, Kyosuke, don't imagine it. But then again, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. No, wait, she's just in the next door classroom, so if I listen carefully, I can probably hear something. Hey, Kamiya. What are you smirking at, you bastard? Do you enjoy it that much when your classmates are being disciplined? I see. As expected, you're rotten to the core. What is it? Kyosuke's cautiousness had slipped to the wall, and taken a trip to a dimensional world, and he was brought back to reality by Kuriyama's growling voice. He gaped in shock at the transition. By the time he came to his senses, Kuriyama, who had long since finished the discipline, had shouldered the blood-spattered pipe, and was looking down at Kyosuke from the lectern with an icy glare. Did you say, what is it, to me? That's a fine way to behave in class for someone who intentionally took his seat only moments before we started. You must really want to be disciplined. Oh, wait, please, that's not what I meant. Oh, then what did you mean? Why did you have such a joyful look on your face? I'm just dying to hear, so please explain. And before you do that, stand up. Explain? If I could, if I could just stay seated. I won't allow it. I thought I told you that I will absolutely not allow backtalk. Are you making fun of me? No, ma'am. Sorry, I understand. Yosuke nodded in assent, even with Kuriyama reaching down from her post to tortuously grind the end of the bloody pipe to his cheek. The hell is this? Even if I try to invert my eyes, her iron pipe comes after me. Is she going to beat me? Hit me with the pipe and then lick up the blood? I underestimated her after all. It's like a bad joke. The timing couldn't be worse, goddammit. How am I supposed to explain this? Of course, there's no way that he could honestly confess that. I suddenly broke into a grin, imagining that a girl from Class B who I just met was being made to do this and that as her punishment for being late to class. My apologies. Nor continue on to honestly say that. Because of that, I am not standing, but I am indeed erect. My god. Absolutely not. Forget about being disciplined. She'd beat him to death. However, since Eri was beside him beside him to the left, if he were to stand up, the fact that he was hard would be obvious to her, and it just so happened that this was the moment of all moments where she was not fiddling with her manicure, but instead watching him with puzzled eyes, waiting to see what he would do. On the other hand, embarrassment and humiliation were still preferable to death by blunt force trauma. Resolving himself to the inevitable scorn and disgust of his female classmates, Yosuke slowly, resignedly stood. Not that. No. From the other side of the classroom, a courteous voice belonging to someone in Class B cried out suddenly. What? That high-pitched voice, could it be her? Little Kyosuke who had just speak. Oh my god. It's so sus. Who had just began starting to quiet down suddenly got his energy back. Kyosuke reflectively lowered himself back to his seat. I see. I totally understand, Kamiya. That's your choice, is it? Reaching the limit of her patience, Kurumiya once again descended from the lectern. Tossing the crushed iron pipe aside, she pulled new ones out from somewhere. There are 2 pipes now, carrying a deadly weapon in each hand. Kuriyama drew closer to Kyosuke. Oh god, am I gonna get beaten down like that asshole earlier? But there's no helping it. Rinko's also receiving her punishment, so I too. What is this crap? And here I decided I wasn't going to get myself killed. Wiping the blood from his mouth anyway, even as he stilled his innermost thoughts, Yosuke couldn't stop shaking. Kuriyama stood in front of his desk. A pair of eyes housing an agitated light stared down at Kyosuke head-on. Oh, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Hello, welcome. In his terror, Kyosuke couldn't move a muscle. Wordlessly looking down, he clenched his teeth. You see, in that case, I'll send you to the next life right now. Yahoo! I'm back from the shores of the River Styx, little miss. The door in front of the classroom was thrown off its hinges as a lone male student came clashing in, trampling over the broken door. Raising his voice in a loud, rancorous laughter was Mohawk. Kuriyama snarled. You came back already, you bastard. I guess I didn't punish you enough. Sticking out from the mummy-like bandages that covered the intruder's head was his bright red mohawk. Kuriyama's attention had turned away from Kyosuke with the flashy return of the student who had, just earlier today, been dragged to the school infirmary. A thick vein bulged in her temple as she turned out to face Mohawk. We were in the middle of class, you know. In addition, that door. Are you making fun of me? I'll send you straight back to hell if you keep screwing around. Unfortunately for you, I'm in a bad mood right now. You might be injured, but I won't go easy on you. Hope you're ready. Recoiling for a moment from the bloodthirsty glare to Kuriyama's eyes, Mohawk quickly gathered his courage and raised his voice in unpleasant laughter. Is that so? Well, fine by me. I ain't gonna take it easy on you this time, little miss. I'm gonna shred that stumpy little body of yours. I'm gonna put all my strength into it. Ready or not, here I come. Stumpy. Why, you little... Kuriyama's expression grew cold as he stepped toward the still laughing Mohawk. I'll teach you a lesson from the Underworld. The pigs who have called me Stumpy, or Pipsqueak, or Kiddo, or Kindergartner, they're all dead now. It seemed that Kuriyama's, whose eyes now bulged with bloody rage, had entirely forgotten about Kyosuke. Oh, Isn't this great, Kyosuke? Yawned Eri from beside him. You're saved. Saved? I just got a stay of execution is all. However, because of Mohawk's clumsy provocation, Rihanna's temper was getting worse and worse. An aura of dark bloodlust radiated around her. Mohawk, who was facing her down, should have been shaking in terror, but... Is that so, little Miss Stumpy Kindergartner? Or is it elementary schooler? You're so scrimpy. You're too scrimpy, so that's my mistake. Sorry. What? Every student in the rooms got goosebumps at the same time. They all stared at their reckless classmates with expressions of utter shock. Only Eri offered a quiet comment. He's a dead man. Kuriyama's shoulders, which had been rigid and tight, began to tremble like Mina's. Her voice grew loud as she broke into frantic laughter, holding her stomach. Perhaps put at ease by Kuriyama's laugh, Mohawk also opened his mouth wide. For a short moment, the two of them laughed like good friends. Well, that was a good laugh, Kuriyama eventually said. It's been a long time since someone has made me laugh like that. Wiping away slight tears that had welled up in her eyes, Kuriyama dropped her iron pants, approaching Mohawk as she stretched up on her toes and placed both hands on his shoulders, her smile fading away. Do you want to be beaten to death 1,000,000 times over? With all her strength, she wrenched his shoulders out of their sockets. Oh my god. Kicking Mohawk with her heel and stamping down on top of him as he fainted from the pain, Kuriyama surveyed the classroom. Listen up, you maggots. For your first effluent lesson, I was planning on a nice little tour of the grounds and an introduction to facilities. Too bad that had to change, No worries, though. I've got a great demonstration of numerous barehanded torture techniques lined up instead. Well then, let's begin with the extremities, huh? Starting with the fingernails. And finally we get to the scalp. Oh, would you look at that? It seems I got a little too engrossed in my demonstration. If you ask me, we still got quite a bit of ground to cover, but well, we'll just have to leave it at this for today. After all, I'm a busy lady. I can't just play around with you scum all day. Wiping her blood-soaked hands on Mohawk's jacket, Kuriyama, who had carried out the sadistic lesson with frightening enthusiasm, looked tired. Flinging the filthy blazer aside, she took a few idle golf swings with the iron pile at the pixelated mass lying on the floor, the shuddering wreck that had been Mohawk. Once his eyes had rolled back and he had stopped moving, she finally turned away, allowing the medical team, waiting on standby, to swoop up the unrecognizable figure onto a stretcher and shuffle him away. Well then, it's now 4 o'clock. Class time will be over before you know it. Change your clothes and assemble on the sports field by 6 o'clock. From there you'll do physical labor until nightfall. Healthy minds dwell in healthy bodies, so instead of extracurricular activities, you'll work correctional duty twice a day, morning and night. Be sure to attend. Strict punctuality is expected. Got it? In response to Kuriyama's words, the class collectively responded with an energetic voice. Yes, ma'am. The hellish torture show had planted a sense of terrified loyalty into every one of them. Good answer. Well then, I'll see you later. Nodding in satisfaction, she took her pile of handouts under one arm. I feel like I'm forgetting something important. But, oh well. Right now, I feel like getting straight back to the classroom and having a drink. I should go for some milk and egg shortbread cookies. She say milk and egg shortbread cookies? That's strangely cute. No, wait a second. I can't discount the chocolate chip cookies. Looking with her chin in one hand, Kuriyama left the classroom. I'm saved. Yosuke shouted as soon as she was gone, throwing himself over his desk. His whole body felt weak. That's what they call a narrow escape. I thought I was done for. Something important that Kuromiya had forgotten was of course, Yosuke's discipline. After watching her demonstrate so many cruel methods of torment, one after the other, with no other thought than that he was next, Kyosuke finally took a moment to relax. Isn't that great, Kyosuke? You were saved by that bird brain. Yeah, you're right. I'm still alive now thanks to him. Kyosuke almost felt like he should have some words of gratitude towards Mohat, who had unknowingly helped him out of his predicament. Well, what are you planning to do now, Kyosuke? Asked Eri. Kyosuke leaned forward and thought about it. Now? Well, come to think of it, it's after school, right? I wonder. After the end of 5th period, they had two full hours before manual labor began. Each student was free to spend this time as they liked. As long as they assembled on time and in their work jerseys, no one cared where they went or what they did. Kyosuke had a hard time imagining what to do with his free time. Say, isn't that the guy? The butcher who killed 12 people? An unfamiliar 12 voice spoke from the hallway. Kyosuke felt the blood drain from his face as the corridor erupted in noise. I've got a bad feeling about this. He turned his face to the door. Huh? Look at his eyes, so intense. I thought my heart was gonna stop just now. Hey, I told you not to do that, you'll be killed. Come here and kneel down with the mind to die. You mean he's responsible for that pool of blood? And the door is busted in two. How cool. I want to kill him. And then eat him. I'll make a stew. No, the one who's going to take him down and eat him is me. Me. My left arm, Azrael, is throbbing. Yosuke Kamiya, it's saying, I want to kill you. Seriously? Kyosuke was stunned. Students who heard the rumors about Kyosuke were gathered in the hallway, peering into the classroom through the open door and gaps in the iron lattice. The narrow hallway looked like a packed train, bustling with people clamoring for space. The whole of their collective gaze was fixed on Kyosuke alone. It was like a great weight bearing down on him. Isn't that great, Kyosuke? You're famous. Eri nonchalantly remarked. There was little call for celebrations. At her desk behind Eri, holding her head with her eyes shut tight, Mina repeated a handful of words in her infantile voice, fumbling over the syllables again and again. I pray that the world will become a peaceful place. I pray that the world will become a peaceful place. I pray that the world will become... It was because of the earlier incident with her in the hallway that so many other students were now gathered. Kyosuke wanted to clear up the misunderstanding with her as quickly as possible, but he couldn't afford to make a clumsy move. Oh, man, what should I do? This is a no-win situation, isn't it? The students in the hallway remained outside, watching. Not even one of them had made a move to enter the classroom or start off a conversation. Were they afraid of Kyosuke? Or were they holding one another back? He wanted to make a break for it, but the hallway was so crowded, he wouldn't even make it 10 feet. Kyosuke had stiffened, his skin clammy with nerves. Is Kyosuke in here? Kyosuke, oh, there you are. From out of the cloud, a black gas mask suddenly appeared, pushing the other students aside with a polite, "Excuse me, please," or "Could I just get by?" Rinko made her way to the classroom, paying no mind to the stares that surrounded her. She strode boldly up to Kyosuke. Well, I haven't seen you since lunchtime. Say, did you manage to make it to class in time? I just barely made it, but... In response to Renko's cheerful greeting, Kyosuke lowered his voice in a hunch. The loudly clamoring students all shut up at once, and strained their ears to hear Kyosuke's and Renko's conversation. The sudden silence was intensely uncomfortable. However, Renko didn't seem to think so and continued the conversation, unbothered by the silence. Oh, unbothered by the audience, not silence. That's nice, isn't it? That's nice, isn't it? You made it, but... What did you mean by but? Nothing. Nothing. Just in your case, yo. Oh, right. Unfortunately, I was about 10 seconds late, so... Rinko sighed with a whoosh. Kyosuke gasped and swallowed hard. In his head, the girl's voice who he had heard during class was endlessly repeating. The teacher showed up about 20 seconds late, so I was saved. Oh, that's not too bad. Wait, what? So, you were safe? Strange. That screaming voice. Was I hearing things? Yeah, but there was this girl who showed up about a minute late. Poor thing, she fell victim to that. You know that girl? The girl who's almost as wide as she is tall? What did you say? An auditory hallucination would have been 100 times better. While he had imagined Franco's breast taking the punishment for being late, it turned out that what had been going on the other side of the wall was anything but arousing. I wish I could just disappear. I wish someone would bury me. It looked like she was caught up in searching for someone. Seems like she was late because of that. She must be in the infirmary now. But the person she was searching for, wasn't that you? It was completely unwanted, but you're probably right. I really had no idea. Kyosuke groaned, head in his hands. This is the worst. Shit. Bob hasn't given up on me yet. Isn't this great, Kyosuke? You're so popular. Eri nonchalantly added. Yep. Before Kyosuke could turn to meet her scornful gaze, Renko tilted her head with a Kyosuke looked at Eri, who had begun fiddling her with her fingernails. A friend of Kyosuke's? How do you do? I'm Renko Hikawa from first year class B. I'm actually 16 though. What does that mean, actually? What does that mean, Sorry, that's Eri talking. What does that mean, actually, when we can't even see your face? Eri replied, refusing to play the straight man to Renko's comedian, and ignoring the hand extended in friendship. Anyway, I'm Eri. Painting on a top coat to put the finishing touches on her nails, she returned a short introduction. After staring for a second, Renko nodded meekly and retracted her hand. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What was I thinking? Going for a handshake when you were working on those things. My field of vision is a bit narrow because of the mask. Those things? What do you mean by that? Lifting her face, Eri looked at Renko's gas mask with suspicious eyes. No, it's just that I think your nails are really cool. They're hard not to notice, though. Oh, right. Being effortlessly fashionable is the foundation of womanhood and all that. Eri shrugged her shoulders at Renko's carefree words and returned to her nail art. Her nails were beautiful, with rhinestone and Swarovski crystal ornamentation on top of a base of a red manicure, and the pointed tips were bordered in black. Looking at them, it was obvious they had been done with some skill. Right. Passion is a girl's specialty, isn't it? By the way, Yosuke. What are you saying? What are you saying? For your information, your gas mask is not even close to being fashionable. Eri tried to respond. Right, about lunch tomorrow, Renko continued. She let the fashion thing go so smoothly. Why don't we eat together? I'd like to have a chance to actually talk with you. I wanted to talk to you after school, but this commotion in the hallway started, you know. What do you say? Lunch tomorrow? Sorry, Renko. I eat by myself. If you want, I'll let you touch as much as you please, Renko interrupted. As much as I please? When you say as much as you please, you really mean that? Sure, you can satisfy yourself to your heart's content, touching the smooth material of my mouth. Is that what you meant? It's pretty confusing, you know, the way you said it. Having stood up with the clatter, Kyosuke sorrowfully returned to his seat. Eri returned her tepid gaze toward him. Huh? What do you think she meant? Pervert? Gross. Looking at Eri, as he glared at him and called him nays, Kyosuke realized. I see, her chest is completely flat compared to Renko's huge protruding breasts. Eri was utterly, perfectly flat. Where are you looking? You want me to lop it off for you? What about you? Where are you looking? And what about you? Where are you looking? And don't say scary things like lop it off. Whatever. Anyway, it's just a little cocktail wiener, so who cares? No way. Maybe you wouldn't call it a bratwurst, but it's at least a sausage. The words got louder and louder. Then Kyosuke quickly bit his tongue. He could hear the voices of students in the hallway and classroom whispering. Sausage? He said sausage. Kyosuke had the sudden urge to repeatedly smash his head into the wall. Renko took a long breath with a... What made you start with such a delicious talk all of a sudden? I think it's great though. It looks like you're getting along. I'd like to be part of it too, Oh, I know. Clapping both hands together, Renko made her voice and her huge breasts bounce. How about if Eri joins us for lunch tomorrow too? A meeting like this would be an opportunity of some sort, right? Don't you think that's a good idea? Eri faltered, faced with Renko's massive swinging breasts in addition to her innocent demeanor, which did not at all match her outward appearance. She turned away as if looking for some escape. I'm not finding anything, said with a resigned acceptance. Well, why not? I don't really mind, not really. Hey, Kyosuke, isn't that great? Renko cheered. Wow, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's lunch so much. Yeah, it's great. Kyosuke began to reply before catching himself. Hold on a minute here. I don't remember saying that I was gonna go yet. What? You're not going to come? Why not? Boo-hoo. Who actually says the word boo-hoo? And as for when I'm not, well... Put on the spot for an acceptable excuse, Kyosuke found himself at a loss. Of course, his actual reason was that he was not a murderer, but an ordinary teenager. And though it might have been the truth, there's no way he could tell them that. On the other hand, it's not like I can expect to be left alone leisurely eat my lunch. Looking at the students swarming at the front of the room, Yosuke found himself in a difficult position. The gleaming gazes of high school murderers. It would have been better if they were only looks of fear and admiration. But mixed among those were expressions of jealousy and hostility, and even more upsetting, faces beaming with homicidal intent. By all means, he had to avoid being drawn into any kind of situation with those reach. Surely his life was in danger if he was alone. He could end up being killed carelessly, given that it would be better to go. Fine, I'll go too. I'll go. Yosuke nodded, his heart and mind set on self-preservation. The real top killer of Class A, who had cut the throats of 6 people, and gas mask girl, who was maybe the strongest person you could have ever imagined. It was hard to envision a more troublesome lot than these two, though. If he could somehow manage to befriend them, it could be beneficial, or so Kyosuke thought. Really? Yay, I'm so happy. Tomorrow's gonna be a party. So after all that, you end up coming after all. Indecisive asshole. Wrinkle bubbled with joy at Kyosuke's response, while Eri's expression remained relaxed and cold. They weren't friends, just allies, a means to survive. Yosuke decided he'd throw his lot in with these 2 girls. The Purgatorium Remedial Academy was a boarding school. It had to be, to prevent escape and keep the students isolated from the outside world. Established for the purpose of rehabilitating underage murderers, Purgatorium Remedial unsuspectingly differed from other institutions of its kind in several key regards. For example, near the concrete wall and the fence that fully encircled the grounds, guards maintained a 24-hour watch, and nobody questioned their authority to use deadly force if necessary. Such measures almost seemed unnecessary, however, as the entire campus was situated on a solitary island, surrounded by miles of ocean, making escape a practical impossibility. Purgatorium Remedial could hardly be compared to a normal prison. Yet, even so, the students' freedom was recognized to a surprising degree within the grounds. At times, it was hard to tell whether this place was particularly strict or particularly lenient. In the first place, it was beyond puzzling that a detention center, built exclusively for underage murderers, even existed. Facilities for housing underage criminals made sense, but why on earth would there be one for only murderers? The orientation had notably been unclear on that detail. Well, when I think about it, I can think about it until my brain turns to mush, but I'm tired. Yosuke was completely exhausted, both body and soul, after finishing the rigorous manual labor, and for a full 4 hours, he had weeded the farm fields, repaired the school buildings, carried raw materials, so on and so on, all while being selectively harassed by Kurumiya. He tossed away the handouts that had been distributed during the orientation and threw himself down on a simple bed frame that was provided for him. The mattress was thin and patchy, promising an uncomfortable night's sleep. Over the window, though, you could see the deep blue night sky, where thick iron bars as wide as the one in the school building. One wall of his own was made of the same bars that locked shut from inside. There was not much furniture in the narrow, bare concrete apartment. Just a desk and chair and small shelf, and in the corner a Western-style toilet. It looked like it belonged in a prison rather than a student dormitory. Am I supposed to spend 3 years in a place like this? You've got to be kidding me. Yosuke wore a jersey with a black border and a white background. It really is a prisoner-chic design. It suits murderers so well, however. I've never killed. I've never killed anyone, I think. As soon as the words left his mouth, an anger that he couldn't control began to boil to the surface. Though it had only been a moment, Yosuke was angry at his own weakness and doubting his innocence. Even in the face of this absurd situation. Well, shit. I didn't deserve this. This is very relaxing while playing the Dave X Nike minigame. Yeah, I'm glad. Molten rage smoldered in the bottom of his gut, enduring it through gritted teeth. Yosuke tossed and turned. He had asked himself the same question 1,000 times between his arrest and placement here. Why? No answer comes. The promise of more manual labor awaited him early the next morning. When he closed his eyelids, intending to get some sleep, what came floating up behind him was his most important family member's face, Ayaka. Whenever he thought of the little sister from whom he had been separated, a deep crack worked its way through his heart. I wonder how Ayaka's doing right now. The expression on Ayaka's face the last time he had seen her was seared into his mind. Since being dragged away by the detectives on that day, Yosuke had hardly been allowed to see his sister at all. Like a series of progressive waves, he had been moved from jail to detention center, and his trial was conducted, all while he had no idea what was going on. By the time he had came to his senses, he had already been moved into this school. But still, what was his sister doing? If he thought about it, he could easily imagine. Yosuke had been through so much, but Ayaka was the one who was really hurt. Ayaka's feelings were hurt, and she's probably crying. Yosuke could easily imagine his little sister in her dimly lit room, wearing a bath towel over her head, holding her knees, body shaking, stifling her sobs. Long ago, Yosuke had found her like that, almost every night, a result of the horrible bullying she received in elementary school. I'm sorry. Seeing his normally cheerful little sister like that, Yosuke had decided he would become stronger than anyone else. He shot out the strength to protect her so that Ayaka would never again be hurt, never again be sad. Since then, there were many times where he caused Ayaka to worry, but she had never been hurt by bullies, never been made sad. Or at least she wasn't supposed to be. In spite of that, Yosuke had... It's just as Ayaka said. I was always doing idiotic things, and so I got wrapped up in something I couldn't come back from, didn't I? I'm so sorry I'm such a stupid older brother, but... He clenched his fist on top of the bed, illuminated by the pale light coming through the window. Not yet. It's not all over yet. If he could manage to graduate safely, he should be able to go back outside. If he did that, he should be able to see Ayaka. He would protect Ayaka. He could apologize to Ayaka. That's why, no matter what happens, I'm going to endure it. Everyone around me may be a murderer, but whether I have to stare down that demon of a teacher or be thrown in lockdown, no matter what, I'm going to survive. Alright, let's see. How long is chapter 3? Okay, chapter 3 is quite a long chapter, so... We will read the rest next week. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped you relax or fall asleep and unwind. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Octopath. Get some rest, get some sleep, get some water, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.